President Hart, Dean Hadley and Dean Hughes, faculty of the schools of medicine and pharmacy, family and friends, and especially graduates of 2015. It is a singular privilege to be able to share this moment in time with you, recognizing that your academic life has been honed in on this weekend for many years. And now you have finally arrived at this seminal moment. It's an honor to stand here and to say to you, congratulations. This is one of those moments in life when the joy that overwhelms you underscores the fact that all your hard work was not for naught. So I hope you're able to take a deep breath, to enjoy the weekend, to celebrate with your family, and to recognize that this has been a job well done. It made me think back to graduations in my own life. I remember sitting there and names being read off, followed by Latin-sounding terms. Cum laude, magna cum laude, summa cum laude. And then came my name. And I related much to the man who said, when I graduated, it was laude, laude, how come? Made me think back to a moment like that. Even made me think back to grade school. I remember in grade school with Nilsa Johnson, who's here today, I remember a phrase that we used to repeat. Maybe it'll serve you somewhere along life's pathway. The more you study, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you know. The more you know, the more you forget. The more you forget, the less you know. So why study? But that was my life, not yours. You're here. You have completed, and there is great cause for celebration. But before you celebrate, I have a question for you. It's a question that comes out of the research of Daniel Kahneman. Kahneman is the Nobel-winning economist. Done research on students, asking them about a simple problem, a simple equation. So I want to ask you this morning, put on your thinking cap for just a moment and consider this. A bat and a ball cost $1.10. The bat cost $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? I hated those kinds of questions in school. You know, they would ask a question, 2 trains leave, one from Chicago and one from, and I'm thinking, why do I care about trains in Chicago and New York? I'm in Texas. Why do I care about that? But the teacher would press it home, so I'm pressing it home to you. A bat and a ball cost $1.10. The bat cost $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? Now, as I thought about it, I thought, I'm going to have them raise their hands. And then I thought, no student sitting out there facing all their faculty is going to be wanting to wave their hand around in the air on the slight possibility that they might be wrong. So how much? Kahneman and his researchers have asked this question to a lot of students at a lot of universities. Now, as you sit there and read that, you may answer as did I when I first read it. You've had, a minute or so to digest it? I had all week. I'm still trying to sort it through. Here is a common answer. The ball cost 10 cents. That's the most common answer they've gotten. Ball cost 10 cents. Bat cost $1 more. If you thought about that, if you looked at it, if your intelligence and intuition kicked into gear and you said, it cost 10 cents, you would be precisely wrong. But take comfort, we're not going to cancel the graduation. We're not going to pull your diploma from the stack. Because the truth is, you would be far from alone. It cost $1 more than the ball. So if the ball costs 10 cents and the bat costs $1 more than that, it would cost $1.10. Added to the 10 cents of the ball would make it $1.20. The correct answer is 5 cents. Ball costs 5 cents, bat costs $1.05, added together is $1.10. Kahneman and his researchers have discovered that over 50% of students at MIT, Harvard, and Princeton answered wrong. Over 80% of students at less select universities answered wrong. So I'm in good company, even with students from MIT. Because Kahneman says, here is the truth. This is one of those moments when raw intelligence isn't enough. If you just go by raw intelligence and intuition, you will probably end at the wrong conclusion. He says, this is one of those moments when, in addition to what intelligence you have to slow down and focus. Think. Sort through the equation. I want to take you to a proverb this morning. Just one simple proverb from the Old Testament book of Proverbs. Just one simple proverb that seems to underline a very similar reality. It's in the 18th chapter of the book of Proverbs. I'm going to read it to you from the New Living Translation. This is a proverb that says, in essence, raw intelligence alone is not enough. There has to be something more. Listen to what the old wise man said. Intelligent people are always open to new ideas. In fact, they look for them. Intelligent people are always open to new ideas. In fact, they look for them. If you were to read the New Revised Standard Version's rendering of this, you would see the words acquire and seek. Intelligent people acquire further knowledge. Their ears seek new ideas. Acquire. Seek. You will find no passive posture on the part of the truly intelligent person, because the truly intelligent person continues to press forward, saying just an intuitive, raw intelligence isn't sufficient. There is more to learn, new ideas to encounter, new discoveries to make. And so the truly intelligent person continues to ask why. Continues to nurture wonder, continues to seek humility, the humility that says, I don't know it all, continues to maintain curiosity. In other words, the truly intelligent person who is ever open to new ideas, who is ever seeking them, becomes somebody who learns throughout his or her entire life. We were in England some years ago visiting New Room. New Room was the chapel built, the oldest Methodist chapel in the world, the chapel built by John Wesley, 1739. After we had visited the chapel and after I had had the singular privilege of walking up and standing in that pulpit from which the great John Wesley had preached, after all of that, we went to the little shop attached to New Room. We looked around at the books and the other mementos and trinkets that were available when my eye was drawn to a small plaque. I took the plaque down off the wall and examined it. My eye was drawn to it for a couple of reasons. First reason was it was a great quote, but it wasn't by John Wesley. And I was curious, why is there a quote here in the New Room store that's not by John Wesley? It was by Michelangelo, that Renaissance man. You know, the artist, the sculptor, you just continue to add to his list of accomplishments. Turns out it was a favorite quote, apparently, of John Wesley's. That's one reason my eye was drawn there. But the second reason was that as you looked at the plaque, it was in two languages. It was in English. It was in Latin. Having grown up in Latin America and having grown up speaking Spanish, I've learned that many times I can figure out what a Latin phrase is saying. This one I could not figure out. 2 words long. Ancora Imparo. Ancora Imparo. I turned it over and read the little label on the backside. Ancora Imparo means I am still learning. Michelangelo, at 87 years of age, Ancora Imparo. While he leaned on his cane. I bought that plaque, and it hangs on the wall just behind my computer in my office at home. I am still learning. You've mastered a body of knowledge. You've mastered the body of knowledge that your field of study has determined is essential for any graduate to master. That is why you sit here today celebrating this weekend and recognizing, I have taken the challenge, I have learned what I must learn. This place, Loma Linda University, has poured much knowledge, many facts into your minds and hearts. But what we cannot control is whether or not those facts gets mixed with your intelligence and issues forth in wisdom. Wisdom is the purpose of the Proverbs, guiding us toward the living of a truly wise life. Intelligence is not enough. Intelligence will be enough when the patient sits before you to sort through all of the physical symptoms and arrive at a diagnosis. But it will require wisdom to look at the complexities of the person in front of you. Intelligence is enough to take the medications that have been prescribed and figure how they will interact and know exactly what to say to the patient, but it will require wisdom to look into those fear-filled eyes and be able to speak comfort and hope. We've been able to do something at this university about the knowledge, the facts, the things that get mixed with your intelligence. But you will have to make decisions about whether or not new wisdom will emerge. I don't know if you have found this. I have found that wisdom is not a guarantee with intelligence, nor with knowledge, nor with facts. It needs to get mixed in, if you will, a concoction of life and living and mistakes and successes. And one of the ingredients that is the most productive in terms of wisdom is suffering. There will be suffering in your future, whether it is yours or that of those who join the pathway with you. The wise person learns from suffering. The truly wise person learns from the suffering of those around them. And you will have to ask, am I willing to stand not just on this day, but on every day in my future with those two words echoing in my mind, Ancora Imparo. With every situation, with every opportunity, with every joy, with every sorrow that comes. Wisdom. What was it again that the proverb said? It said, intelligent people are always open to new ideas. In fact, they look for them. They maintain a sense of openness, of question, of query. In fact, let me read you the words of one of the key founders of this place, one of the most famous quotations from the pen of Ellen White, one of my favorites in terms of education. Many years ago, she wrote, teachers should lead students to think and clearly understand the truth for themselves. It is not enough for the teacher to explain or for the students to believe. Listen to the next line. Inquiry must be awakened. Inquiry must be awakened, and the students must be drawn out to state the truth in their own language, thus making evident that they see its force and make the application. By painstaking effort, vital truth should be thus impressed upon the mind. This may be a slow process, but it is of more value than rushing over important subjects without due consideration. Inquiry must be awakened. We must ask why. Another word for that might be curiosity. Seeking to be truly curious people. The writer Dorothy Parker said, the cure for boredom is curiosity. There is no cure for curiosity. What does Webster say about curiosity? Curiosity, says Webster, is that discipline we enter into when we inquire, when we ask why. It is both the source and the course of true education. It is the cause and the result of true learning. Inquiry must be awakened. Always asking more. You, as a parent, if you happen to be one here today, know what it's like with those little crumb crunchers who are always tugging at your pant leg. Why? They never stop asking why, to the point of utter distraction. One mother one day became so frustrated, she tried to stop her son's question. She said, "Johnny, enough. Do you know that curiosity killed the cat?" Well, that stopped him for a moment. And then he said, "What did the cat want to know?" Curiosity, continuing to ask, continuing to wonder, continuing to marvel at God's creation, His vast handiwork with the imprint of His fingerprints, asking continual questions. You know, that child who asks why today grows up and then stops asking why, and that's a tragedy. The writer Mary Brown says, "You know that you have grown old when you have lost all of your marvels." There's no marvel left in the world. It is, as a favorite preacher of mine says, it is pointless to try to teach someone who would stand before David with his hat on. No sense of marvel, no sense of wonder. Inquiry must be awakened. That continual quest, as the old wise man said, for new ideas and new understandings. There is more yet to come. As I pondered this proverb in recent days, I got to asking myself the question, what have I learned? Since the last time I wore academic regalia as a student, what have I learned? I got to pondering and realizing some of the lessons life has taught me along the way. I have learned in those years that my children don't care who calls me doctor. They just want me to hear them when they call me daddy. I have learned in those years that my wife doesn't really care what I know. She wants to know whether or not I care about her. In fact, it struck me again this week that in many years of ministry, in many years of marriage, there has never been one occasion where my wife said to me, "Oh, baby, please preach to me." Not a single time. I have learned in the last year or two that when you sit at the bedside of a dying parent, the only emotion that surpasses the grief is the gratitude. I've learned that my church members care much more about where my heart is than where my diploma's from. I have learned that true learning never has a graduation. I have learned that the truly intelligent person, the truly wise person, is the person who realizes how much he or she does not know. I have learned that when you come to those moments of extremity in your life, when you come to those extreme moments in the lives of your patients, the truth is they will care much more about your tenderness than all your expertise. I have learned when we, to put it in the words of Fred Craddock, that when we curl our toes over the edge of eternity, it really is true. Who you know is more important than what you know. I have learned that the more gray my beard has become, the more it matters to me to know deeply the one who loved me and gave himself for me. And I have learned to listen to and to heed those immortal words. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn. Learn from me. I have learned that learning from Jesus is a lifelong endeavor. And that's why I hope, I pray that one day at 87, I will say, Ancora Imparo.